Welcome to math class today, guys. Hope you have your work from lesson 92. This video will go over the problems that were assigned from lesson 92, step by step. Hopefully, it will allow you to understand how to work out each problem in case you missed anything. Okay, so number one, it says the product of the first three numbers. So I picked the first three prime numbers, 2 times 3 times 5, and I got 30. Is how much less than the sum of the next three primes. The next three primes were 7, 11, and 13. When I added those, I got 31. So I subtracted 30 from 31, and the final answer is 1. Okay, number 2. It says that Dara scored an average of 88 points per game in the first 5 crossword games. So average of 88 in the first 5 games. If I multiply these two, I find out her total points for the first 5 games, which was 440 points. So that would be the total points for the first 5 games. What score must she average on the next 2 games to have a 7-game average of 90? We want a 7-game average of 90. 90 times 7 gives me 630. So after 7 games, she needs to have 630 points. So I need to find how many points she's got to get between the 630 and the 440. She needs 190 points in those last 2 games. And they want to know what her average would be on the next 2 games. So I averaged 190 by 2, and she needs 95 points per game on those last 2 games. Number 4. Number 4, it says that 45 of the 80 students walked to school. So I subtracted 45 from 80 to find out that 35 students did not walk to school. They want to know the ratio of walkers to non-walkers. Walkers to non-walkers. So I used 45 and compared it to 35, and that reduced to a ratio of 9 to 7. Number 5. This is another ratio box. 2 dozen pencils cost $3.60. So I changed 2 dozen to 24. Cost $3.60. So they want to know how much 60 pencils would cost. So I made a proportion. 24 is to 360 as 60 is to some number of dollars. I use D for dollars. 60 times 360 gave me 216 is equal to 24 times D. I divide, and 60 pencils would cost $9. Okay, number 6. This is one of our new kind, original change in new. When we have a change in percent, we can use a ratio box that looks like this, where we start out with 100%, and then we increase or decrease the percent to get a new percent. Okay, so it says the population was 1,600,000 in 1990. We want to know the new population after a 25% increase. So the new population is 125% of the old population. So I got rid of this category. I made my proportion 100 over 125 is equal to 1,600,000 over the new number. I did my cross multiplying, and the new population is 2 million people. Okay, number 7. It's another original change new. In number 7, it says the price of oranges increased 50% in 1 month. So I had my original percent is 100, and increase of 50 gave me a new percent of 150%. And then it tells me that the price after the increase was 75 cents. So they want to know the price before the increase. Okay, so I can get rid of this one. My proportion is 100 over 150 is equal to the original price over 75 cents. I do my cross multiplying. The original price was 50 cents. Okay. Number 8. We had a couple of equations, words we needed to write into equations to solve them. It says 60 is what percent of 75? So I divided both sides by 75. 60 divided by 75 equals what percent? 60 divided by 75 gives me 0.8. Uh-oh, I'm not in percent yet. I need to have an answer in percent. So to change a decimal to percent, I multiply by 100%. Bump, bump. 80%. Okay, B says 75 is what percent of 60? So I divide both sides by 60. 75 divided by 60 is equal to what percent? When I divide 75% by 60, I get 1.25. It's still not in percent. I'll move my decimal twice to the right. Bump, bump. 125%. Hopefully you saw that because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. It was going to be over 100%. Okay, number 9. We've got a conversion problem. The snail moved 1 foot in 2 minutes. They want us to go to yards per hour. So I changed my distance first. I said 1 yard is 3 feet. That allowed me to cancel my feet. Now I'm in yards, which is what I want. Then I had to change my minutes to hours. So I said 60 minutes is 1 hour. I put minutes on top to cancel with minutes on bottom here. I end up with 60 divided by 6. That gives me 10 yards per hour. Okay, number 11. Number 11 says if x equals -5 and y is equal to 3x minus 1, they want us to figure out what y is. So in my equation here, instead of an x, I'm going to use the value of x, which is -5. So instead of 3 times x, I'm going to say 3 times -5. 3 times -5 is -15 minus 1. These have the same sign, so I add their absolute values. 15 and 1 make 16. I keep their sign, which is negative. Y equals -16. Number 13, we've got this trapezoid, and they want us to find the area first of all. So my formula for area, base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. Remember, your bases are the parallel sides on the trapezoid. 10 and 5 make 15, divide by 2 makes 7.5 centimeters. I used my height, 6 centimeters. Okay, in the book they drew the height over here. I just moved it over so it could also be my line of symmetry for the second part. So I multiplied times 6 centimeters, 7.5 times 6, it gives me 45 centimeters square. And your line of symmetry should divide this trapezoid directly in half so that if we folded this trapezoid along that line, the sides would match up. Number 14. Number 14 says a merchant bought a stereo at wholesale for $90 and then he marked up the price 75% to sell it at retail. So when a merchant buys merchandise, okay, that would be his original cost, okay? He bought it for $90. He's going to increase that price by 75%. So the new price that he's going to sell it for at retail is going to be 175% of what he bought it for at wholesale. Okay, so we're looking for this. So 100 over 175 is equal to 90 over the new price. When you do your cross multiplying and you're dividing, you end up with a new price of $157.50. The B part asks for you to add on 6% sales tax. So I did 157.50 times 0.06 for 6% sales tax. My tax was $9.45. I added it to my price and then final price after sales tax, $166.95. Number 18 says, what number is 250% of 60? Okay, so I got rid of my percent sign by dividing by 100, moves my decimal back twice, bump, bump. So my new equation is, what number is 2.5 times 60? And that number is 150. Number 20 says that John measured the diameter of the bicycle tire and found that it was 24 inches. Okay, so he's got his tire. The diameter was 24 inches. And they want to know what is the distance around the tire. So that's circumference. Okay, so I did circumference is pi times diameter. Pi times diameter. I got 75.36 inches. And they wanted us to round to the nearest inch. So to the nearest inch, it is 75 inches. Our next one was our graphing problem here. Number 21. That one, they wanted us to use this equation, y equals 2x plus 1. They wanted us to fill in the rest of the xy chart, the function table. So if x is 0, I'm going to put 0 in for x. 0 times 2 is 0, plus 1 is 1. So if x is 0, y equals 1. Let's see what happens when x is 3. If x is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 makes 7. So when x is 0, y is 7. What happens when x is negative 2? 2 times a negative 2 is negative 4, plus 1 is negative 3. So these end up being our xy pairs that we can graph, okay? So the first one was 0, 1, that is here, 0, 1, that's my first point, then 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, up to 7, and then negative 2, negative 3, negative 2, negative 3. Once I have those 3 points, I can draw my line here through those points. This is the graph of y equals 2x plus 1. And then C asks, is this a direct proportion? And I can answer no, because we learned already if it's a direct proportion, then it will cross through to or through the origin, and this one does not. Number 23 has several parts. The first part, we're adding x plus y plus 3 plus x minus 1 minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to collect anything that's like. Well, here's an x, and I've got another x here, so I have one x here plus another x. That gives me 2x. So those are done. Then I have a positive y and a negative y. Okay, if I have plus 1y minus 1y, I have 0 y's. I don't have any more y's, so they're gone. Then I have a positive 3 and a negative 1. Opposites subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. Keep the sign of the bigger one. Positive 2. So 2x plus 2 combines everything in number A, letter A. B is a multiplication and addition. So we want to do 3x times 2x plus 3x times 2. 3x times 2x is 6x squared plus 3x times 2 is 6x. These are not like, so I cannot combine them. That's as far as it goes. 6x squared plus 6x. On C, I want to do x cubed y squared. That means times itself. X cubed y times x cubed y. X cubed times x cubed. If I'm multiplying and I have the same base, I add my exponents. Gives me x to the 6th. Y times y, y squared. X to the 6th, y squared. And on 30, finally, last one. So here on the top, we have multiplication. I have negative times negative gives me a positive, times another negative gives me a negative 240. On the bottom, negative times negative gives me positive, times another negative gives me a negative 24. Negative divided by negative gives me a positive answer. 240 divided by 24 is 10. Last one, negative 6 minus 5 times negative 4 minus 3 times negative 2 times negative 1. Order of operations comes into play here. I'm going to multiply before I do the adding and subtracting. 5 times a negative 4 gives me negative 20. So then I just rewrote here. Negative 2 times negative 1 gives me a positive 2. Okay, so now I have this. Now I look here and I see I have a minus, a minus. Okay, so I'm going to add the opposite. Okay, but I needed to take care of this too. I should have done that first. So I went ahead and did that here, negative 6. So negative 6 plus 20 minus 6, which I can think about as add the opposite here. Add the opposite. So negative 6 plus 20 gives me 14, plus a negative 6. 14 minus 6 is 8. Okay, final answer of 8. Hope you did well. If you still have questions about any of these, please send me an email so that I can call you. Send me an email, put a phone number in there where I can reach you, and I can call you to discuss any of these that you still don't understand. Hope you have a great day, guys. See you later.